Hello, everyone. You are listening to Those Other Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Melanie.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Today is a teacap. That's why we have our tea mugs. We are ready to spill some tea. All right. So the first thing, though, is let's just do like a recap of our week. What has been a high for you? Let's just do highs. I don't want to do lows this week.
Well, a high for me is that a couple days ago, I got to go to Dallas to do door knocking for the Abortion Free Cities campaign with Students for Life. So I got to...
Wait, Dallas? What's
Texas?
Okay. I know.
Is there another Dallas somewhere?
Okay, you said that last time. I work in Dallas, North Carolina. Okay. You said that last time. And I'm going to always say Dallas where to make people aware of Dallas, North Carolina.
Nobody knows that Dallas, North Carolina exists.
That's so crazy that you don't remember that.
If you're not like a Carolinian, like
Carolinian.
Okay, nobody knows that that's a thing. Okay, anyway, the highlight is that I got to do the door knocking. I got to inform for sure one woman who was home about the local pregnancy center, and she told me she was pro-life and she had no idea about the pregnancy center near her nor the abortion facility that consistently fails their quarterly inspections and cause a woman to hemorrhage. So she was very thankful to know that information and will refer a woman in an unplanned pregnancy to the pregnancy help organization. And another high, a part of that is that Vice News followed us around for those couple hours that we were door knocking. They made an article and released it today, quoted me. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that documentary. I was totally fangirling because I like to watch some of their documentaries from time to time on YouTube. So to think like, wow, I'm gonna be in their content. I'm really looking forward to that. I was totally fangirling.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching them and then Jubilee. Do you ever watch Jubilee stuff?
Yeah,
I like watching them and Anthony Padilla. Do you watch any of his stuff?
No.
So I'll talk about him in a second, but I like watching Vice and Jubilee because they, even though they're obviously left-leaning organizations, they do give really good information. And also too, it's just a lot of the stuff, specifically Jubilee, just has like regular everyday people who are just talking about themselves. And I just think it's really good to hear opinions. I still think about the episode with I think you're friends with her. It was like pro-life women versus pro.
Oh yeah, pro-life, pro. Yeah, I remember that.
And with that girl. It was that girl that was at the rally. Remember, I told you about her. She was at a counter. We had a rally, and her rally was right beside it back in last October when we were in DC. And then she's really pretty. I think she's Filipino, maybe. Anyway, she was in that episode too. And I was
Does she have purple hair?
No. That person's on our side. She's pro-life. She's really nice.
Yeah, I know.
The person I'm talking about is the other girl. She just does a lot. And I just brought her up because we've seen her in real life, but you can't remember. So
okay.
I guess it doesn't really matter.
Is she pro-life or pro-abortion?
No. This girl is pro-abortion. This girl I'm talking about is pro-abortion.
Oh, and you're saying I'm friends with her?
No. This someone's completely separate.
Okay, that was confusing then.
I'm sorry. Okay, so there was two people on that episode that stood out to me. The girl you're friends with the purple hair.
Okay, Destiny from New Wave Feminists. Check out New Wave Feminists.
Yes, New Wave Feminists. I'll remember to. I'll remind me to put that somewhere for people.
Okay.
I really like everything that she said for the most part. She was really cool. But then there was that other girl who's like our age, and she is pro-abortion, and she was at like a rally. She was doing a counter rally to a rally we were at, and she was like, I don't know. I just feel like I see her everywhere now. I feel like she's like anti-us.
Oh, Was she the girl that was like, imagine the privilege to be able to
Yes,
say that
yes.
you thought that your vote was a joke?
That
Okay,
girl, yeah.
Yeah, I
Maybe
remember her.
I'll link that episode for people to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's interesting to hear the pro-life girls and the pro-abortion girls talk.
I think our side did a really good job.
Yeah, there's definitely parts of it that are cringe.
Oh, of course.
Could have been done better.
Because, you know, they're obviously going to put like a tiny slant on it. Obviously. Everybody does. But, you know, I thought we did a fairly decent job. I will say the girl who made the never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
I'm friends with her on Facebook. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that was a good first day. I'm glad. I mean, that was a good day for you.
Yeah, that was my high.
I know what else to talk about. Anthony Padilla really quick. So I discovered him because I watched all of these like versus Jubilee episodes. You know, they have like Christian concern, blah, 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 blah.
I like those episodes.
I love those. So I watched so many one day back before I had a job, and you know, so I was just back to back because I don't know, I love that type of stuff. I would love to, I just keep putting it out there, and one day somebody will do it, will hire me to do it. I would love to do shows like that. That to me just seems so amazing. Anyway, so because I have been watching so much stuff, you know, YouTube, their algorithm, they like try to give you other things. So I found Anthony Padilla, and he is someone who apparently has been on the internet since like forever. I had never heard of him, but he does like I spend a day with episodes, and actually that's more of what I would love to do. And it's just random people with just like different things. One of the most compelling ones I thought was I spend a day with someone with DID. Do you know what that is?
No.
Dissociative identity disorder. So people who not schizophrenia, people who have multiple personalities. Oh. It was so interesting. Someone switched on screen, like and it's just so fascinating. He's done stuff like I spent a day with people with OCD, and that's another one I really liked actually, because it talked about like when we make jokes about OCD, we always say, yeah, like I like the thing to be straight, but that's not what OCD is. One of the girls was saying like OCD was like how she, in her head kept telling her if she does not make sure that door is locked, then her house is going to burn down. So every 5 seconds she would go down and like she couldn't turn it off. Like her brain was just telling her that. So she kept going, making sure the door was locked, making sure that stuff like that. So like I really like that because it's always like people who are people, I don't know, like he did people who are narcoleptic, people who've been human trafficked, people who've been kidnapped, people who've survived plane crashes. It's just people that like, yeah, people that I feel like you wouldn't every day hear about. That he also did people who can smell color or something like that. There's like there's like a brain thing that you can have where you can like smell color, and like he was talking to them and like asking them questions. He's a really good interviewer. Anyway, those I love.
The multiple personalities has almost 14 million views.
It is the best. I think it's his best interview.
It's less than 29 minutes long, so about half an hour.
Yeah, it's one of the best interviews. It's really, really good. And honestly, the girl who switched on the episode toward the end, I actually like looked into her YouTube channel, but there was a bunch of drama, so she doesn't do YouTube anymore. But I like looked at some of her videos and I learned a lot. I think that's what I like about that is like, if you know me, I'm extroverted. I'm such a people person. So I just like to hear just different things. I like to learn. And I really do want to be able to relate and understand people more. And I think that is just learning to understand people more is a way that you can communicate better when you are meeting new people. For example, I mean, the OCD thing, when people say I have OCD and they really mean it, not like I have OCD, because, you know, people say that all the time, which I kind of can now understand what OCD really is. I feel as if maybe we should like stop because like you really don't.
Yeah, have OCD. That's how I feel the same way with like people who say, oh, I'm just
bipolar.
Yeah, that's one, but it really bothers me when people say I'm just PMSing, right? PMS, the premenstrual syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's like a legit thing. That's something that you can like get help from an OBGYN. And so that's something like when people just like put into a category like, oh, she's just PMSing right now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe like, and that's a serious thing. Like,
yeah. It's the same concept of like when you understand people better, you're able to, I feel like have better conversations. And it's not being sensitive. Like, you know, obviously I'm not gonna punch you if you say you're OCD. I just think that for myself personally, I'm not going to say things like that because I know what OCD really is from listening to these people discuss it and how it's affected their lives. I realized that, well, there's nothing really OCD about me. If anything, I'm like the exact opposite. But I realized that if I'm straightening something up and I'm being very about it, that I'm not being OCD. Like I
feel the same way with words like anxious or depression. Like I'm sure there's levels of those things. Like maybe there's levels of OCD, but that I wouldn't ever just throw around the term I struggle with anxiety. Like I would say like, oh, I feel kind of anxious right now, or and if you feel like that's like, you know, hindering your life, if that's keeping you from living an everyday life, then you should, you know, talk to a health professional, you know, but not to just throw around those terms, because some people have legit anxiety, depression, OCD, etc.
And if we're going to be, last thing on this topic, and if we're going to be people who are speaking truth and we're going to be people who care about definitions, then just throwing that out there just isn't good. That's why like I try really hard. Like I've had some really, really deep, sad moments, but I try really hard not to say I have depression, because that, I mean, I feel like our generation throws depression and the word anxious out there like it's nothing. But I think that's why I try really hard to say, you know what, I don't think I've never had depression, but I've had very
you've probably had moments of depression, like,
but I would never say like I'm a depressed person. Like that's not, and I think
that's a legit thing.
Exactly.
Like, can't get out of bed kind of
thing.
Thing.
And I think when we minimize, when we say like every little thing or every little thing is OCD, every little thing is anxious, every little thing is multiple person, every little thing is bipolar, then we minimize what it really is. And I feel like we can't help our friends and family that actually have it because we don't really know, because everything's been so polluted. But
like, yes. And diluted too. It's like it's like also diluting the word when you're like, I have anxiety, when literally you just, I don't know, you're getting nervous. It's like not the same level of someone who's been like diagnosed with anxiety. But again, like it's like we should acknowledge that and like, oh, maybe you should take a breather. Or like, well, maybe like we can just stay home right now.
And like
to acknowledge those things. But if it is getting to the point that you can't live your regular lifestyle, then acknowledge that and talk to a healthcare provider.
Yes. And I've said things like, okay, this thing made me really anxious. Like I am feeling very uncomfortable, but I would never say like I have anxiety. Like that's just not something that I think we should just throw around. Like a thing can make you anxious. This one thing can make you super sad, depressed. But like just saying that you have this disorder, that is where the problem lies. Just so everybody understands. Anyway, Anthony Padilla has some really, really good episodes. I think you would love them. And you know, just a reminder, it is a very left-leaning. I mean, some of the newer ones, everybody has to say their pronouns.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his channel right now, and it looks really cool. I see I spent a day with people who escaped North Korea.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm excited.
A day with an ex-cult member.
Yes, that's a good one.
With a non-binary person.
That's a good one too.
I spent a day with the CEO of YouTube. Plane crash survivor, extreme sleepwalker. Okay, so this looks really cool.
I would love to do a show like that so badly, but we wouldn't do like pronoun. Like
one. I spent a day with COVID vaccine recipients.
Okay. That's kind of funny.
Are we all spending a day with them? Hello? I don't know why that's like a special thing.
Yeah. And see, I probably wouldn't do things like that. Like I'd probably just try to stick with different people. Yeah. But I think that'd be so cool to do. And I just think that, and also too, it just humanizes things. Like,
oh wow, I spent a day with death row survivors, with school shooting survivors.
Yes, that one was really good.
With climate change scientists.
Yeah. So
I'll stop there.
You get the gist. There are some really good
stars.
There are some really good ones. Oh, he did one where he spent the day with like Visco girls. Remember Visco, that app? Yeah.
Yes.
He spent a day with Visco. So like that. That was one of his first ones. It gets better, and then it starts getting into the pronouns, which, but still, like, it's still good conversation. And I would love to, and like, anyway, so on to me. What good thing happened to me this weekend? Good question. What did I do?
What was your high for the week?
My high for the week. Okay, this is a silly high. And this definitely makes me seem like I have no life, but I want to say it. So our episode that we filmed Wednesday, this is so stupid, but it just made me, I don't know, it made me feel like it was worth it. Okay, so the episode we filmed Wednesday, we talked for like an hour afterwards. Melanie and I in real life are like really good friends.
Yes, if you can't tell.
Together. Yeah, we've roomed together, so like we enjoy talking to each other. So
too much.
So we talk for like an hour and a half afterwards, and I go to bed early. Like that's like my thing. Well, for whatever reason, we stayed up talking, and like so to download the episode from Zoom, you have to be off of the talking thing. So then I had to download the episode, and then my laptop is like almost out of storage. So I had to like take some of the stuff and put it on I have like a little thing that, remember Kevin was telling me to get, like I have one of those things to make space on my laptop. So I had to do some of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look, y'all. Look, I'm gonna expose Mallory right now. Mallory has like 100 tabs open on her laptop at this exact moment while we speak. Like,
okay,
girl will never close a tab. So answer us. Can you trust people who don't close their tabs, or are you that person? Comment down below. The end. Okay, continue, Mallory.
Well, anyway, so I had to take stuff off that laptop. So anyway, so by the time I went to bed, it was like 1 a.m. And that's late for me.
Yeah.
But so like when I woke up, so I have 2 laptops. Okay, so one of the laptops actually works in like its professional stuff. The other laptop was a laptop that they gave us in college. So my college, quote unquote, gave us laptops, but it was included in tuition. Anyway, something's wrong with that laptop. So sometimes the screen won't work. So to get the screen to work, I literally have to slam it. Like I literally slam it, like not even exaggerating. So the screen stopped working. Just real quick backstory. The screen stopped working. I want to say October. Wow, 2 years ago. Screen stopped working 2 years ago. And
it's still lasting you.
Yes. Well, no, I've had that laptop since, when 2015. I've had a laptop since 2015.
Wow.
It's nice. Old. It's a Lenovo. That's the one that school gave us. Okay. So the screen stopped working 2 years ago, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need this for school." All of that. My brother's super sweet. He bought me a new laptop. My birthday's in November. Yeah. So my birthday's in November, so it was kind of like my birthday present. He bought me a new laptop. So I'm like, okay, all right, good. So then I, because of the Miss Rona, I had to move back home. So we packed everything up, and I still had that old laptop because the screen didn't work. But when you hooked it up to like to the TV, what was on the screen will pop up on the TV. So maybe I would be working on my laptop, and then back then I was dating someone, and like maybe he would come over and I'd be working on my laptop, but we'd be watching something on Netflix. So I kept so I didn't like throw the laptop away. So anyway, so we get back to my home, and like we're doing stuff, and I open the laptop, and the laptop screen is fine. I'm like, oh my god, God healed my laptop. Like God healed it. Everything's great. So then something happens and my laptop stops working. I'm like, what on earth is this? So then like I drop it and the screen comes back on. And I was like, wait a second. Is this? So then I drop it again and the screen goes off. I pick it back up and I slam it on the ground and the screen comes back on. So now if the screen goes off, I just slam it on the ground. Anyway, so that laptop does the video stuff. So we could be on YouTube and Rumble. And the laptop I'm using here is as the audio. So anyway, so I had both the laptops up trying to work on everything. And then I guess I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I had like my laptops on my bed. And then like, I was just like, wow, I feel so entrepreneur. Like so that was the high for the week.
Wait, I didn't catch that. That was like this long, like run-on sentence. I did not catch the meat and potatoes.
Okay, so like I just felt very entrepreneurial because I fell asleep and both of the laptops were on my bed and like I, had been up editing late that night trying to think of the description and yeah.
Okay.
That's high for the week. Well, I said I'm gonna sound like I'm lame. I don't do anything.
That
else.
doesn't sound lame. I get it. It's just I just
your
feel
response.
Like it was just kind of anticlimactic.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, well. So that's our week. Let's get into the teacap. We have our tea and we're ready to. Let's click our glasses. And we're ready to drink some tea. I wish I had, I want to get sounds and like when that happens, like we're about to do a teacap. We'll go slurp, I don't know. Slurp, or like teas clinking, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Well, first thing that we do want to do is recognize 9/11. You're going to be listening, this episode goes out on September 11th. It is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. That was, I don't remember that. Yeah, did you not know it was the 20th anniversary?
I mean, it makes sense. It's just something like I haven't connected to this moment.
Yeah. So it's the 20th anniversary and I was in the first grade and I think we talked about this when we did this episode or 9/11 episode last year. I was in the first grade. Melanie, were you even thought of? Were you born?
I was in pre-K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like K3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't remember it. I
think K4.
Okay.
Regardless.
Yeah, either way. It was a time and I don't remember it. But I do want to recognize that it's the 20th anniversary and we are very blessed to live in America, even though some of the things we're going to talk about today it's kind of upsetting that we some things that are happening in our country, but we are very blessed to live in such an amazing country. I mean, and we live in a country where some of these things are happening, but we still have at least a little bit room left to fight for it. Whereas other countries, they can't even fight for what they need. So we just wanted to recognize that. And I know that there's been a lot of it's been a sobering couple of weeks, I guess, with everything going on in Afghanistan, with this coming up. And yeah, we also hope that this could be a little bit of escapism. That's what we said about the Afghanistan episode or the episode that happened while all the stuff was going on in Afghanistan, which it still is, toward the beginning of it. But we just hope that this could be a little bit of escapism, that you can like come and listen to if you just really don't want to think about, because I mean it's a sad time and I'm sure there's a lot of emotions going on with everything. There's just so much going on right now. So yeah, I just want to recognize that. So Melanie, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to when I was a child, when you were a child, when this was so much more fresh, in American history, and nobody would have dared to like not stand for the flag and put their heart on their chest. So I'm just thinking like, Yeah. Yeah.
Or disrespect the flag in general.
Nobody. Everybody would sang the national anthem, pledged their allegiance. Like, I'm just thinking, like, that was the norm, and it's sad where we are now in the 20th year since then. Like, who could have thought? And like I said, it's just, I just feel like it's almost just such a 180 in our culture. People who don't stand for the flag, don't honor it, hate America.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot, it's just so weird. But maybe those are the people too, the Gen Zers who, they were not a thought maybe in 2001.
That's what I was going to say. It's a lot of people who just were not affected. So I was talking to my dad about this. I mean, everybody was affected, but some people weren't born. And like, I was talking to my dad about this. And so my dad was working, my dad's a lawyer, and he was working in uptown Charlotte, and they locked it down because Charlotte, I think at the time was like number 2 in banking. So it was like, oh, we could be next. Yeah. But not really, because it's also Charlotte. So like they locked down uptown, but that was kind of it. There wasn't nothing happened like where we live outside of the city, like in the suburbs. Nothing happened over there. Like everybody knows somebody who was affected by it, but it really didn't, I have friends, especially because, I went to college in New Jersey. So I have friends who talk about this and they get emotional because of people that they know and things they thought about. I personally don't have that type of connection. I have a family member that was supposed to be there if he hadn't been fired a month ago. So that's like the closest connection I have to someone that was there. So there's people who live in Charlotte, people who live in, Florida, who live in, I'm trying to think of other states, who live in Arizona, whose family, I don't know if it wasn't affected, but like it wasn't it wasn't personally affecting them. Not the way people who are in New York and New Jersey were affected. So I think that if you didn't, specifically children, like if you didn't like reiterate, like, hey, this affected all of us, like this was an attack on us. Like, even though it didn't feel like it really affected you, like, because that's the other thing too. I was talking to my dad. I was like, I really don't remember it. And it makes sense. I was in the first grade, even though people say they remember it, that we're in the first grade. You don't remember. You were in the first grade. But and my dad was like, well, yeah, nothing really happened to you. Like, you're in the first grade. We're not going to sit you in front of the TV and like show you I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's a good point. So I think that that has a little bit to do with it. They just weren't really affected by it. And I think people are just very ignorant of how great our country is and how blessed we are. Especially when they start comparing, like, for example, the heartbeat bill to the Taliban, like that. Talk about hyperbole. Like, I think people are just really ignorant of that. And it's sad that we're at that point. Hopefully, we can move past being like that. Hopefully we can continue to remind our children's children, like this day and those that were the lives that were lost and things like that.
Yeah, that there was an attack on our nation and the principles that we stood for, the liberty that we stand for was attacked. And that's why to this day we memorialize that event. We remember it. To know that, like, to be thankful, to continue being grateful to live in this country. So I just thought about how it's just so sad how some people are like, I'm outie, like, but they ain't outie though.
I was gonna say, but they won't
still
leave. They won't leave. Yes. I feel like if they left, we wouldn't be in this situation. Yes. Okay, anyway.
So God bless America. God bless our service members.
Yeah.
And
the first responders.
Yes.
Okay, so our first story. A little bit lighter, but probably a little bit infuriating. Our Demi Lovato.
No!
She's a they now. Did you know that?
No!
Yes, she's a they. Anyway. And I mean, y'all know when I tell you I was a huge Demi Lovato fan, I think let me tell you what made me a huge fan of hers growing up. I heard in an interview, which looking back, this is so stupid. So I was gonna say, obviously, it's not obvious. I was a cool kid, but believe it or not, I was bullied. I know it's hard to believe. I was bullied growing up. I know, me of all the people, believe it or not. So I was bullied as a kid, and in the interview, she said she was bullied as a kid, and for whatever reason, that just was like, we are one and the same. Like, I don't know why. I just really felt like we were. So I loved her. I loved her. Honestly, her music, absolutely love. I mean, there's some good songs that are on my In My Feelings album, and I can just vibe. Her voice is amazing. You know, a little bit over a year ago, she was engaged to a dude. Like, she was just
get married.
No, she was engaged, and she got baptized in the Jordan River. She got baptized in the Jordan River in Israel, like 2-3 years ago. So I'm over here thinking, my girl is thriving. Anyway, you know she hasn't been thriving. Let me read to you, Mel, what she posted, and then I want your opinion on this. You ready?
Okay, I'm so sad.
Listen to what they said. Be a slut. Show your body. Get naked. Have all the safe, different, consensual sex you want. Be kinky. If you're listening with children, stop listening with them now. I should have said that before I started reading this. But now I'm going to say some words that I don't think you should talk about right now if you're listening with young children. Masturbate. Make / watch porn. Make money. Just a reminder that being sexual is okay. This is what Demi Lovato posted. Melanie.
Where is this?
Go to the Politics.
Oh, okay.
If you go to Politics, under Christine Jurgen, who we're gonna have on the pod soon, hopefully. If you swipe, they screenshotted Demi Lovato's story.
Oh, okay.
I know. Tears. And then I just remembered this Instagram.
Why, Demi?
I know. I really loved her. I thought she was just this amazing. I thought she was a role model. Like, she was bullied.
Yeah.
I was bullied. I thought we were kindred spirits. And I mean, it feels like every day she does something.
I used to really love Demi too. I was also bullied in elementary and middle school, and then I was cyberbullied in high school. And I was in a dance class in my freshman year, the year of the cyberbullying, and for the final we each had to perform individually, and I chose to dance to a song by her, the song Skyscraper. So I was like,
oh my god, that song, like the first time I heard, I was like, I am a skyscraper. I will. They're gonna see me. Oh, and La La Land. Okay, first of all, I was never famous or anything. I would sing that. I will not change. I will stay the same. I sung that song with my full heart. I do not know why I resonated with that song. I have never been to Hollywood. I am not famous, but La La Land and Skyscraper. Part of the lyric, you remember when on y'all back in the day when we would have cell phones and you could have a signature? The lyrics to Skyscraper was my signature at one point. Were you not? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember that. Like, kind of like your email.
Yeah. Okay. Like in your email. Yeah, it was a lyric from Skyscraper. That was my song.
What was it? Was it like going try to tear me down? I'll be rising from the ground.
I think it was like I think it was something like that. And it was just, I was a big fan. And every day she does something else. My brother sent me something too that she did. she made a let me see if I can. No, we talk too much on Instagram.
So when did she become a they them? Do you know that? Was this like a few weeks ago?
No, this was like a couple months ago.
Oh, okay.
She was also on Joe Rogan, and that was honestly, let me tell you when I really like, I definitely think we should pray for her. Let me tell you when I really realized like something was off. She said, you know, because she has a legitimate drug problem. Like her drug problem or her last overdose, she was saying how her eyesight is like cut off. She can only see like half out of her eye. So like out of, I think it's both of her eyes. I don't remember specifically, but like her eyesight is cut. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm like covering like half of my eye. Like she can't see above where my fingers are. So if she wants to see higher up, she'd have to like cock her head back to see higher. Yeah, it's really
like that's how her sight is permanently.
Yes. Something happened with her brain. That's how her sight is permanently. Okay. So she has a real drug problem. In the interview, y'all, she said something like, I don't remember the exact wording, but she said something like, you know, sobriety just isn't for me. And I'm okay with that. And I was just like, oh my God, this girl needs help. Like, that's not, and that is, you know, and this is essentially all the things she said: be a slut, show your body, get naked, have all the safe, control, kinky, all make porn, stuff like that. All of that just goes to the whole like, I can do whatever I want without any consequences.
So she identifies as non-binary, is what I'm finding.
That's a they. Like,
okay.
Her pronouns are they. As a matter of fact,
I didn't know everyone who was a they was also non-binary, but I guess
that's what that means. Yeah. So like someone asked Lizzo an opinion in an interview about her, and Lizzo goes, her pronouns are they, something like that in the interview. Or like, you know, when the celebrities are like walking and paparazzi like, look over here, look over here. You get what that's from?
No.
Angela over here, Angela over here.
Is that from The Office?
Yeah. Remember when she's like her husband, the senator?
Oh.
Yeah. She's like, do you know how many photographers are at a senator's something or another? 2. And Angela over here. Angela over here. It's like, bro. Anyway, so they were doing that to Lizzo, and I asked her a question about Demi, and she was like, her pronouns are they. Anywho,
my pronouns are they, because I could never be them.
That was good. We've been saying the whole she thing a lot, you guys. Like, I try to bring it up as often as possible because I think that's so funny. Hopefully I'll bring it up in this episode. Anyway, so where was I? Okay, so yeah, so like I think it's all part of this whole mentality of just do whatever you want. There's no consequences. Be a slut, show your body, get naked, have all the safe, different consensual sex. That's not wrong with your husband. Be kinky with your husband.
Be consensual with your husband.
All these things are like, it's so. It's
yeah,
I don't know how else, like, it just sounds.
You're right. We need to pray for Demi. Have you heard of he was a YouTuber, started off on Vine, Lohanthony?
No.
Okay, Lohanthony, whose real name is Anthony, I believe. He has same-sex attractions, and like I said, he got big on Vine back when that was real popular, and then he moved over to YouTube. And in the past year, so about a year ago, he converted and is now Catholic. So
what's his name? Anthony?
Lohanthony. So Anthony with a low.
Because his profile picture is Jesus.
Yeah. And so
1.1 million.
Yeah, he lost a lot of followers though, because he shared on his YouTube like, I'm a Christian now, and he has a podcast too, and he'll read Bible verses, and just go through kind of like a mini Bible study on his podcast. Anyways, I just bring him up because he's an example of a celebrity who, you know, lived that lifestyle. And I'm sure people were praying for him. I think I prayed for him back in the day, like thinking like, oh, he'd be so cool. I wish we could be BFFs. And now he's a Catholic Christian. So I just bring that up to show that celebrities are not too far gone, that
Amen.
Nobody's far gone.
I was about to say that. Nobody is too far gone.
Yeah. And yes. And celebrities who have a big platform. Everybody.
I have never seen this person.
Everybody can come home. Well, he was big.
Is this the Daniel? Was that him?
Daniel. No.
Oh. Okay, so I've never seen that man a day in my life. But you know what? I'm really glad that he has turned his life around and has come to Jesus. I think that's really what we need to pray.
And that could be another Demi. That can be another Demi.
Yeah.
It's possible.
And I mean, she has to have, for her to be baptized in the Jordan River, she has to have something in her. There had to have
something convicted her at some point, and that seed is still inside.
Yes. And it's
that
just
mustard seed.
And I want to just say, like, the reason why being a slut, showing your body, getting naked, having all the safe, different consensual sex you want, being kinky, masturbating, making sex, watching porn. I'm not going to include making money because I don't really like. I think that's the one thing I'm like, yeah, girl, make your money. That's right. Unless it's because you're doing all these things.
Making money is in the same list of
yes,
all the sex stuff.
I'm sending it to you now. Yeah, the last thing it says, make money. Okay, so
okay.
So
I don't know why that's equivalent.
So anyway, the section, everything but the making money part, the reason why these things are not they're just not fulfilling. And I want to say, like, as Christians, we're held to a different standard, and these things will just never fulfill you. Now, in college, I wouldn't say that I had this, and you know, I can admit I didn't have like this wild, crazy, like, you know, I wasn't in Jersey City selling myself and drugs on the side. I didn't go through that type of experience, but I did go through an experience where there were times where, you know, I wore something that I probably shouldn't have worn. And why did I do it? Because I wanted the attention. And that's another thing too. I absolutely hate like, no, we wear it for ourselves. No, you don't. Not only do you don't wear it for yourself. You don't go to other countries to get things in your body for yourself. I'm sorry. You're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the male gaze, but we'll do an episode on that. Don't worry. Anyway, and I'm telling you, like, that is just not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling. No, you cannot convince me that it is fulfilling. I'm sure it feels, actually, I know, like, you know, wearing something that's a little bit inappropriate, it definitely feels good at the moment when you get those compliments, especially if you don't get compliments a lot. And that's we can do a whole episode about that. But if you don't get compliments a lot, it feels good. You're like, oh, okay, thank you. But it's not fulfilling. It doesn't last. There's the only thing that can help you and make you feel better. The only thing that will get rid of this hole that you have is a relationship with Jesus. That's just the truth. There's nothing in this world that is better than that. And I'm going to speak to the single girls right now. So Melanie don't know anything about this. I'm speaking to the single girls right now. It is hard out here, and I get it. Let me tell you, sis is not, I'd rather not be single. That's just the reality. You can say all you want to say about, you know, the whole thing, like, oh, if you're content, whatever. I'd rather, life is tough. It'd be nice to have someone. But the things us single women, we do not hold ourselves to a higher standard just to get attention, just because we think that we're going to be recognized because God owes us something. That's not why you do it. You do it because that's what God wants us to do. The Bible talks about your purity. The Bible talks about not being a stumbling block for your brothers. Now, that doesn't, if your brother does stumble, that doesn't mean that, or if something does happen in regards to him, something that doesn't absolve him at all. And it doesn't mean that you're this evil, terrible person. What I'm saying is, like, we have a responsibility. God has called us to be different, to be set apart. And we can do it. Not only can we do it, like, we don't do it just because we think we're going to get some sort of reward from it. And I want to reiterate that, because I know that for a really long time, I was like, I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z because God is going to give me a man, a good man. And now I see my friends that did X, Y, and Z and then did it again. And they're married in these happy relationships. And it's like, oh my God, because it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about, what does God call us to do? God calls us to remain pure. God calls us to focus on him. And that's why you do it. You don't do it because there's some sort of reward. And all of these things, specifically as a single person, all of these things are not going to fill you up. They're not going to make you feel better. They're not going to make you feel empowered. There is nothing empowering about being used. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because, we're talking, one of the goals of this podcast is to talk to young women, and is to encourage women, and to, like, do my part in helping with the culture. Now, hopefully there's those other boys somewhere that they're doing the same thing. But I'm not going to hold those other boys accountable. It needs to be someone. Please do that, because someone needs to be teaching these boys. Because I feel like we're like boys. And, like, in all honesty, I feel like I see a lot of things for girls. I feel like I see nothing for boys. So it could just be because I'm a girl. So there could be, if you're listening and you're a guy and you're like, that we have stuff, then great. I'm glad. Share them with all your friends. I'm doing my part with the girls, because there needs to be a thing. Like, we should see every woman, Christian woman specifically, we should see this and be like, no, that should be our automatic reaction. When you're younger, when you don't know anything, I'm sure it's like, I wonder, will this make me feel better? I'm telling you, it won't. I promise you, it will not. The only thing that can make you feel better, the only thing that will make you feel whole, is like a relationship with Jesus. And now, is it going to be perfect? I mean, absolutely not. Like, there's been times where I felt very alone because of just everything going on in the external. But I'll tell you, every single time I've been like, you know what? Let me focus on God. Let me open my Bible. Let me listen to some Christian music. Automatically feel better. Automatically. That's just my little rant to fellow singles. Yeah, Melanie, you have anything else you want to say about this list, Nicole?
Yeah, well, what I want to say too is that hole is a God-sized hole that, again, like how you just said, can only be filled by a relationship with the Lord. And another thing with, like, dressing more modestly, not being, I don't know, like, I feel like if you have to question it, like, should I wear this? Or should I don't know, post this picture? Or I don't know, pose like this? Like, if you have to question it, then probably it's best to err on the side of caution.
Or even send to your friend. Because there's been times I've sent stuff to Melanie and been like, this is a little inappropriate. And she's very honest. If you want to send it to Melanie, she'll tell you if it's appropriate or not.
I mean, yeah. Everyone has different, like, everyone has, like, different ideas of modesty, and everyone also has different body types. So things are going to look different. So there isn't like a golden, like, rule of everybody, nothing 2 inches above the knees. Like, well, not everybody got a big booty, or, like, you know, like, it's just, everybody's different. But what I want to say too with saying, okay, you're right, I'm not going to dress a certain way or pose or post a certain thing. There's beauty and virtue in denying yourself, in, like, dying to that desire. And it's the same thing too, is Christ had to die on the cross in order for life and resurrection to come after. So yeah, it's hard in the moment, but I think there's a lot of virtue and graces that come from that denial and offering it up, because we're not animals, we're not dogs that are just in pain and there's no value from that pain. No, we have a soul, and with our relationship with Christ, we can offer up that pain and say, God, this is hard, I really want to wear that dress, but I know it's not the best, so I offer this up to you, God, and do with that what you will. And then God will work with that. So just want to throw that in there, of that it is hard, but that there's beauty in that kind of like death to self.
Amen. I want to add a little bit to what you said too, and then we gotta move to our next point. Another thing that's really important is your relationships, who you're friends with. I am realizing I have a specific friend who I notice whenever we do things, I'm not perfect.
What?
I know, believe it or not, I was bullied and I'm not perfect. I know, these are all new revelations. I know.
What?
I'm not perfect. So I noticed I have a friend that like sometimes when I'm around this person, I notice that my guard is down. Not necessarily like you have to be all like, okay, I must wear this. But I notice that like, and especially because she's very encouraging to be, how some friends are anyway. And I think friendship, like who you're around really makes a difference. I know, for example, like I said, like I've sent Melanie pictures before, like, you think this is inappropriate to post? Like, what do you think about this dress? And I think it's really good and important to have like friendships and relationships with people like that, because it really does make a difference. I like to think that I am not someone who follows the crowd, because I'm not. Like, if I don't want to do something, I'm really not going to do it. If I really don't want to do it, like so denying to yourself. Here's the thing: I'm a human and I'm a girl. And I like compliments. Let's be honest. Everybody does. Everybody does, girl or guy. I'm a human and a girl like compliments. I'm not stupid. I know that there's certain things that I could do to get compliments. So obviously my flesh, there's parts of me that wants to do these things. So, when you're encouraged, you have to deny yourself. And that was really good. I needed to hear that, Mel. That was good timing on your part. But yeah, I just really want to encourage you guys. Like, friendship is so important, and it's also hard. And I'll just say, like, for myself, sometimes it is hard because my like friends pretty much don't live here. Like, I have a friend or two here, but they're not necessarily. Yeah.
Because they don't listen to the pod.
They don't listen to no, they would never listen. You're funny. No, they would never listen to the pod. I'm pretty.
Yeah, and what's that expression? It's like you become
birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, you become like the people you surround yourself by. So if you're surrounding yourself with people who don't mind dressing really immodestly and playing with boys' hearts and causing people to sin, like, and fall, and encouraging you to fall into sin, then birds of a feather flock together. So you really gotta change up your friend group, and like with Demi Lovato, you gotta press unfollow. And instead follow accounts who are gonna help you to grow in virtue and become the best version of yourself who you want to be.
Absolutely. And this is the last point, and then we got to move on.
We really care a lot about Demi Lovato.
No, we don't care about Demi Lovato. We care about this message that she sent into the youth.
Yeah.
We don't want the youth. The youth. Last point. I really do like who you follow does make a difference. And as adults, our listening is 23. I think it's 23 to 27. Whenever I look at the statistics, it mainly is 23 to 27. So as adults, I won't even say if you're older than 21. If you're older than 22, because I still think 18 to 22, you're still a child. So 23 and up, as adults,
I just became an adult to Mallory 2 weeks ago.
Yes, you did. You certainly did. I saw all y'all as children. But anyway, that's just not the point. So I lost my train of thought.
Oops.
Oh, we're all adults. So, you can make decisions on what you you can decipher like this is wrong. Like, you know what, look at this. Okay, this is not right. This is like the exact opposite of what God calls us to do. But if you're seeing this constantly and constantly and constantly, it's going to creep in. Like you really have to be careful of what you're watching, like what you're taking in. You really have to. So yeah, I just wanted to add that part in. Okay, so next story. This story is one that I was going back and forth whether I want to talk about it, but I do feel like we should talk about it, and it is something that's going on. And there's a scripture that I want to read to make us feel a little bit better. So first, I'm going to talk about this next topic. There's a new federal rule to require businesses with 100+ employees mandate vaccines. You didn't know this? You hadn't heard yet?
No.
Biden will also order all federal workers to be vaccinated. Here we go. President Joe Biden announced on Thursday that the federal government employees and contractors will now be required to be fully vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. And the OSHA will create a rule for private businesses with 100 or more employees to require their employees to be vaccinated or undergo weekly testing. The requirements are part of Biden's sweeping new 6-part strategy to combat the Delta variant, which was rolled out in remarks from Biden at the White House. I will leave a link to the actual COVID plan. I didn't mean to say, I've been wanting not to say COVID, so we don't get whatever. But anyway, I'll leave the link to that for you guys to learn and to read about. So this is, to be honest, like that, the mandating OSHA getting involved to mandate for private businesses with 100 or more employees to require, like, that is big. That is a definition of authoritarian. That's exactly, I keep seeing this tweet and I'm like, yep, Joe Biden is who everybody thought Trump was. That is government overreach to require, to make a rule for private businesses. And that really, like, the reason why I didn't really necessarily want to talk about it is because this is kind of a hard pill to swallow, that we're going in this direction. And honestly, like, I just want life to get back to normal. I miss this the past 2 years. So for the past, I want to say like 7 years, I've gone out of the country like once a year, just doing different things. I have not been out of the country twice. And sure, this is selfish of me, but I miss traveling. Like, God, like, my thing that I always say is like, God created this big, big world. I want to see it. I want to see God created all of this stuff. Why would I not want to see it? I mean, I haven't traveled in such a long time. It is just it's what people talk. It's always in the back of everybody's mind. Somehow, no matter what you're talking about, this conversation comes. I just want to get back to normal. And making a rule for private businesses, that just government overreach, that is the definition. And it's just, it's heavy, it's sad, like, it's upsetting. And I feel so bad for, I mean, you know, thankfully I have a job that's not going to, I know my boss is never going to require that. And then there was some stuff that came out that said that the particular field I work in is not going to require it. But, you know, I think about some of these other people, like husbands whose wives work at the home and they have like 6 kids, and their job might require it. Like, I just think about like how detrimental this could be for people. Some people, like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's sad. Especially thinking you live in a country of freedom, and then to have, you know, that authoritarianism come in on private businesses. And that's so really sad.
Quick, sorry to cut you off really quick. I want to just reiterate, we're not like this. What we do not like is the mandate, the requirement. If someone wants to get a vaccine, that is their prerogative. That is something that they want to do. Sure.
That does
If you've
not bother
discussed
me.
it, yeah, if you discuss it with your doctor, that's perfectly fine.
You've done your research.
Yeah.
Like that's your choice. Like,
Yes.
okay.
That is fine. Our problem is with a mandate. Our problem is with our problem is with the government. The government coming in saying that what you have to put inside of your body. That is where that's not okay. That's not okay.
And I just have to bring in the pro-life perspective on this, because I have heard pro-abortion arguments saying, like, comparing abortion and the vaccine, being like, government is mandating the vaccine, so like that people are saying like government should not be allowed to tell us what we can and cannot do with our bodies. Same thing with pro-abortion ideology of government should not tell us what we can and cannot do with our bodies, right? Okay. Right. However, the difference is abortion is the intentional ending of a preborn human's life. And a vaccine is a medical choice. This is a medicine that is not intentionally ending the life of a preborn human. So I just got to put that out there, because there's been people who've said like, oh, so you're against like vaccine mandates, but you want abortion to be like, you know, eradicated. You don't want women to have access to abortion, but aren't you pro people having like medical freedom to make these decisions? So yes, but again, that's how I just wanted to like debunk that, because it's not the same. It's not a vaccine mandate and I don't know, some vitamin mandate. Like, no, this is a comparison of vaccine, which is a personal medical choice to help fight off this virus, and an abortion procedure that suctions, rips apart, and starves a preborn human. So, two completely different things.
Completely different things. So yeah, like, and then also too, what if something how long are they going to be mandating this? What if I need to get a new job soon for, I don't know, if I move or like if something happens, what do we do? Is this going to be the regular? Are they always going to require that vaccine? They don't require the flu shot. I've never had the flu shot. They don't require the flu shot.
I don't think I've ever had the flu shot.
Yeah, like, and I'm not anti-vax. I just don't want to take it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the account Stop and Consider, everyone should follow. She said last night, reading Psalms 37 will be very beneficial for everyone. So, what I'm not going to do is read the whole chapter because it is 40 verses, but I encourage everyone to read it. I will read some of it. You know how the some Bibles have little headings? This one says, he will not forsake his saints. So I'll start at the beginning. It says, fret not yourself because of evildoers. Well, right there. I mean, why am I fretting? Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers. Let me stop right there. I didn't read this before. I saw that last night and I told myself this morning I didn't get to work early because I had to straighten some things out before work started. So I did not do my Bible reading like I should have, but I told myself I was going to read it today. This, fret not yourself because of evildoers, be not envious of wrongdoers. Like, how timely is this? Oh my god! Like, I don't know if anybody else, like, I needed to read that. Anyway, sorry. For they will soon fade like grass and wither like green herb. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light and your justice as the noonday. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself over the one who prospers in his way, over the man who carries out evil devices. Refrain from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not yourself, it tends only to evil. For the evildoer shall be cut off, but those who wait for the Lord shall inherit the land. In just a little while, the wicked will be no more. Though you look carefully at his place, he will not be there. But the meek shall inherit the land and delight themselves in the abundant peace. The wicked plots against the righteous and gnashing his teeth at him. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he sees that his day is coming. I'll just leave it there. But I really like, what this chapter looks like is just comparing wickedness versus those of us who are trying to be righteous and trying to focus on the Lord, and commit to the Lord. And this is good. Before I go to bed, I'm going to finish this. But I really suggest everyone take a look at this. In times like this, we really do need to rely on the Lord. We need to focus more on him. And that's something I'm working on. I've said this before. There's a lot going on. There's so much going on in this world right now. And if you don't have your blinders on to focus on God, that's why I have really been more than ever, I think I've been really trying to be intentional about reading my Bible, because if you don't have your blinders on, it's so rocky right now. So rocky.
Yeah. And especially too, because scripture is the written word of God. And so if you're not in the word and trying to, be reading regularly, then it's easy to I feel like it's more easy to feel like, what's going on? Like, we're going down, ship's sinking.
Yeah.
It's much easier I feel to get in that mindset if you're not being reassured by what the Lord has already said.
Exactly. If you're not focusing on God and you're letting everything else come in, you can be swayed so easily. Easily. And
it is scary. But I think you just read it's saying be not afraid or don't fret.
Yeah. He says it right here. Don't fret.
Yeah, don't fret.
Don't fret. Now, obviously, don't fret is not easy to do, but it can be done. Don't fret. Okay. So anything else you want to add to that? I think, really quick. Everyone, Psalms 37, read it. Anything you want to add?
No.
Okay. So we're going to head over to our mid-ad roll. I'm not even going to do a fun transition because we are on time. Yeah. It's that time of year again. Everyone, we are doing our donations again, and we are collecting money for pads and tampons for women in shelters in North Carolina. Pads and tampons are the least donated items in shelters, and we are stepping in the gap for these women. Last year, the goal was $200, and we bought 792 pads and 296 tampons. I'm saying we because you guys donated, and we surpassed $200. I don't remember the exact number that we had, but that's how many pads and tampons we did. So the goal this year is $250, and let's surpass that. And let's do that. And just a reminder of Acts 20:35. In all things, I have shown you that by working hard in this way, we must help the weak and remember the words of the Lord Jesus, how he himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. So yes, you guys head over to our website and you click the button that says female product collection or something like that. It'll take you to the GoFundMe. You donate. I will use that money, every cent of it, that money to go to pay for pads and tampons for this women's shelter. And I want to make this a yearly thing, at least once a year. I'd like to do it more than once a year, but at least once a year I'd like to do this because we're a women podcast. We focus on women, and let's help other women. We know that women, the people who run women's shelters, know way more about how to help homeless women or women in crisis better than we do. So let's help them out. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to go back up because we're not going to do the last thing. So the next thing I want to talk, I don't know. I guess let's not talk about that. Talk about that next week, I guess. Okay, actually, do you want to talk about, which one do you want to talk about? The Thing? Okay, Elizabeth Holmes or Brandy Melville?
I only see the Elizabeth Holmes article.
Scroll, keep scrolling.
I see the mid-ad roll.
Right after that.
Oh, okay.
Whichever one you want to talk about, we'll talk about. And we'll just end on that. And then, yeah, we'll end on that because we're running out of time.
Okay, let's do the second one, the Brandy Melville.
Okay. So this was actually, someone posted this in the Cute Server Facebook page. I did not know what Brandy Melville was. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, apparently it's this hot store that tons of the youths like. So here's the story. Brandy Melville CEO doesn't allow Black or fat girls to work in his stores. Okay, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable because of obvious reasons. If you're watching YouTube and Rumble, I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. Like I said, if you're watching on YouTube or on Rumble, you'll understand.
Bumble. Should I not have picked this article then?
No. I added it. I just copied and pasted the title so you guys can read the article. Anyway, that's so funny. Brandy Melville, a cult favorite one-size-fits-all brand targeted at teen girls, has an atmosphere fostered by its CEO that promotes misogyny and racism, according to radioactive reporter from Insider. CEO Stephen Marzin created a toxic workplace where only white, thin, pretty girls were allowed to work in his stores, the Insider report claims. Former senior vice president Luca Rotondo said that she was told by Marzin to hire only girls who fit his specifications. If she was Black, if she was fat, he didn't want them in the store. Rotondo told Insider also reported multiple women were fired for their physical appearance and race. Okay, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I'm just thinking, my immediate thought is of that That's So Raven episode when her and Chelsea were both applying to work at that department store, and then Raven had a vision. She saw into the future that the person who was doing the hiring said, to tell you the truth, I don't hire Black people. And like, even though Chelsea was objectively...
That's So Raven?
Yeah, That's So Raven hit on some serious topics.
Whoa.
And even though Chelsea, the white friend, did an objectively worse job, like she did not fold the clothes well, like she did a bad job, and Raven did everything perfectly to the T.
Oh, this must have been Abercrombie. Remember that store that was popular and the man said he didn't want fat girls wearing his clothes? The owner of Abercrombie and Fitch. Anyway,
I believe it. Anyways, that's just the first memory that comes to mind is that That's So Raven episode. And I feel like, come on. I feel like Biden saying, come on, man. Like that episode came out, what? I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? Like
we're still going through this.
Yeah, we've been here, done that. We know better. Do better.
Yeah. So like, well, first of all, I have never heard of the store. I like to think I have fashion. I just don't have like designer brand fashion, which is okay. You know. So the one size fit all brand, I think that's interesting. I mean, if that, like, here's the thing, because I commented this on the Cute Server page. So in some of the comments, apparently it was like is really just for skinny people, which is, I mean, there's plus size stores. Torrid only has, I think it's like 18 up. They don't even have like smaller size or straight sizes, as they say. They don't even have straight sizes, which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't mind if the store has a one size skinny girl thing. I think that the racism, that's, to me, that's the biggest problem. I think that is like, yikes. That's like, let's sue this man. If he wants women to fit a certain size, because his clothes, here's the other thing too. If the clothes are only for a certain size, obviously you should only hire the girls that fit into that size. The problem lies is if it's this cool, cheeky store, not everybody's going to fit into that size. You can, Ashley Graham, I think it's a perfect example. Ashley Graham is not obese. She's not fat even. I don't even know why she's considered a plus size model. She's not fat. She's not like, she's no Tess Holiday. Not trying to be mean or anything, but like there's a clear difference between Ashley Graham and Tess Holiday. So there's some girls who are going to be built like Ashley Graham, that, because as you know, we're antibody positive here. So there's the girls that are going to, you know, fit, who might not fit Ashley Graham, but they're not unhealthy. Or let's say they're in middle school, their bodies are changing. They just need to make sure, you know, the parents need to be on top of making sure they're eating healthy, because, you know, you don't want them to. So there's so many things that be going on, and they might not be able to fit the clothes. But if it's this cool, like I just see so many issues with like self-esteem. Because let me tell you, in middle school, your girl had no self-esteem on her physical appearance. I've always had confidence in who I am as a person. It's the physical appearance. Like I can just imagine like how, like what this would do to your head as a young girl. The racism is illegal, evil, awful. Would never shop there.
Racism is illegal.
It's illegal. It's evil. It's awful. Would not shop there. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Leave a bad review. Should be canceled. That's wrong. The size thing, I think that like I wouldn't want my daughters to be into that, because I just, and also too, I didn't put this in the article, I didn't put this in the little clip, the section I read, but in the article it also talks about how like the girls had to take pictures of themselves at the store and send them to him, like full body, to make sure that they fit the clothes. And I'm like, ding, 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 human trafficking, ding, ding, ding. And let me all remind you, the person who's going to human traffic your daughters is not creepy old Joe, that's creepy old Mark that sits in the van outside your house. No, it's the man that's in your daughter's life every single day. But like, ding, 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 like child pornography, ding, 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 human child, like that is grooming, ding, ding, ding. And I think that's another thing too, like
ding, ding, ding.
Oh, it's this like YouTube channel that I watch. Do you watch Alex Myers? He does like, you don't, because I tried to show you that video, we never finished it. But he does this thing where there's like a big old red flag, like whenever he's like talking about a relationship, and there's a big, and he has like this little animation that is big old red flag, and like that's what I want to do right now, red flag. He's asking your daughters to send full body shots of themselves, like hello. And I think and this was another thing I said in my comment, and this is just a side to the whole article, just the whole concept, like watch your children. Like this is a good, I think that especially like moms, and you know, once again, this is a woman podcast, moms to daughters, like they should really be involved in your child's life. You know, there definitely is a time where you can overdo it and your child can resent you, but try this is such a stupid advice, but like try not to do that, try not to overdo it so that they resent you. But seriously, like try to be involved, because to me, this type of like, if my daughter was like, yeah mom, I mean this, you know, what was the man? Steven Marson, he needs us to take a full body picture and send it, you know, at work. But I fit in the clothes. I'd be like, you're gonna quit. And I don't want to. No, you're gonna quit. Like that's just, I think it's just part of like being involved.
I hate you.
So yeah. Well, you're not kidding. I don't know what I'd say. I feel like if my child told me they hate me, I'd like fall apart. But that's a whole nother conversation. my whole point being though is like this is just a good example to like be involved, like be just know what your children are doing. Like now is not the time to slack up. But yeah. So the last thing we want to do is our women and their W spotlight. It is brought to you by Culture of Life 1972. You can head over to col1972.com and use the code Those Are the Girls 1972 and get 10% off your purchase. 100% of their purchase goes to pro-life causes. And our spotlight is really not just to women, but it is the men and women that were the 9/11 first responders. I don't have a list of names or anything like that, but you know, the people who were first responders, some of them lost their lives, and some of them have lasting medical conditions to this day. And some of them are, because of that, they are immunocompromised. They can be hurt by COVID, which is just like whammy, 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 so sad. But we are very thankful for people who do that, like to have that mentality, to have that in you to be a first responder to something like that. That takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage. And we really I know I'm grateful for the people that did that lost their lives, people whose families have been affected, the people who have done that and still have lasting medical conditions. And I mean, just first responders in general to any type of situation. Thank you. The spotlight is today on you. Thank you.
Thank you. I blew a kiss.
For those that can't see it. Anybody else? Anything else? Anybody else in here? Hello. Anybody else? Anyway, anything else you want to add about tonight's episode or anything?
No, I just well, I can reiterate and like drive home the point of like we become what we surround ourselves by. So if we're surrounding ourselves by friends who aren't the example of like the persons we want to be, you know, like iron sharpens iron. So yeah. Ideally you want to be with people who are going to sharpen you, and same thing with what you're following on social media. And yeah, I mean, if you're in a work environment like homeboy who says that black and fat girls can't work here, but you're excited that you make the cut, yeah, iron sharpens iron. Probably should get out of there.
That's another good point. If you find out that they're specifically not hiring black and fat girl, well, together, I feel like that's raising those flags.
Just fat black girls. Just
yeah, specifically. Yeah, they can't be Latino.
If they're Asian and fat, that's fine.
But y'all know what I mean. Like, I think that should be a red flag. That should be like, And then
you shouldn't want to work there. You shouldn't be happy that you made the cut.
No, because that's not integrity. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. If you really enjoyed this, please rate, review, subscribe. Sorry, this was kind of a longer episode. It happens. Rate, review, subscribe, share with all your friends. This is if you've lasted this long, thank you. And I just want to remind you guys that like this podcast is so important. We are trying to make a difference in the culture. We're talking about pop culture, life, relationships, career, true crime from a Christian conservative perspective. If you want a fun girly podcast without a bunch of leftism, without all of the random cursing, without all of the raunchiness, this is for you. All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh. Okay. And stop recording.
Yay.